It's been a few years now that BTS has been getting progressively more American radio friendly, but in the past year, their music has undergone a change more drastic than I expected to see from them. As a result, as a fan, I have gradually become more disconnected from them. Now, instead of simply moving on to the next thing, I want to carefully look at what exactly has made my interest in them drop so dramatically, and what do I actually think about this content change. I think that the best way to approach this topic is to discuss what first got me so invested in them. So, the very first thing that pulled me into BTS was their fresh aesthetic. And I'm not only talking about their appearances, even though that's obviously part of the appeal, but I'm also talking about their music videos and choreographies and overall styling. The way that K-pop music videos are shot is addicting because it's all designed to cater to your senses. Music videos are also often highly intertwined with the concept of a new release, which is part of the excitement in K-pop. It's exciting to anticipate what new creative concept a group is going to next come out with, and therefore also what new creative music video they will come out with. And the choreographies, which in BTS's case have typically been quite creative and impressive, further add to the visual appeal of K-pop and the members of K-pop groups. But what made BTS ultimately stand out to me was their lyrical content and the incredibly diverse, addicting discography that they have. And I think in general, this is part of the reason why BTS has stood out from other K-pop groups so much in the first place. Their lyrical content and the overall messages that they have conveyed in their music really emotionally connects with people. It has gave a lot of people comfort in tough times, which has resulted in BTS becoming an almost integral part of the identities of many people. And this in turn has resulted in people becoming incredibly invested and loyal to them. Because when someone insults BTS, it feels like they're insulting you and your experiences as a person. The emotional experiences that I feel I've had through simply listening to BTS's music or reading their lyrics or both, I feel are incredibly valuable and memorable, almost incomparable to any other experience I've had, because much of their music carries inspirational messages and stories which are delivered effortlessly well through their vocals and the melodies and instrumentals of their songs. It all molds into this mesh that just manages to pull you so incredibly deeply in. And then for me, I managed to also get so attached to the storylines in their music too. I feel that those storylines gave me a lot of both mental and emotional stimulation and thus just kept me very invested in their content. I actually have a video on my channel where I explain my theory on some of their, musical eras. And this video is only about 25 minutes long, but this storyline actually kept me busy for about half a year while I was reviewing their content repeatedly and reading books to try to make the puzzle pieces click. So I actually became very immersed in this fictional world that they created as much as you would to a beloved book you've read or a beloved movie. And of course, their personalities and group chemistry is its own massively important factor, but I won't go into that right now since the members themselves are obviously still great and not really related to the topic of this video. So basically, in the last year, a lot of those factors that I just described that made BTS stand out to me, that made me so invested in them, are no longer there in their new content. So it's not just that they've changed their musical style or concept or genre a bit. No, they've done that many times in their career, but I feel like they've actually lost their kind of core essence. Now you might be like, it's only been 3 songs, it's not necessarily permanent. And well, what I have to say to that is, sure, it's only been 3 songs, but the fact that there's been 3 songs in a row that have none of BTS's sort of essence in them over the span of over a year makes me sort of lose hope that they're suddenly going to kind of change their trajectory to the kind of direction that they were in before. And this has been enough to make me feel distant from them. The problem is not that the lyrics are in English itself, but it is that as a result, All meaning and personal authenticity and clever, beautiful use of vocabulary has also been lost from those lyrics. So basically that's one thing, but they also no longer have any kind of storyline or thought-provoking idea that they're conveying in their music other than superficial messaging about being smooth like butter and having permission to dance and also lighting the world up like dynamite. The concepts of the new music lack creativity, and the music is in no way experimental, but rather the definition of radio friendly. Sure, you can vibe to it, but you can't really create an emotional connection to it. You do not listen to that music when you want an emotionally arousing experience, and thus your attachment to that music is rather non-existent. Because when you make music that appeals to everyone, you lose the personal touch that makes some people deeply fall in love with it. And then there's the visual aspect. The choreographies have become simpler to be more digestible and less intimidating to the general public, but it also makes them less memorable and less impressive. Their music videos have begun to, in their own words, look like American music videos, but aren't the music videos a big part of what makes K-pop specifically positively stand out? So it's not necessarily something that you want to change to be more American. So basically this loss of what originally made BTS more popular than other groups is what has made me lose my enthusiasm in regards to them. Of course, they are allowed to make whatever content they want to make, but I do feel that it's a shame, and I do also think that those that got into them because they offered something that most Western music doesn't, or other music overall, I think those people, including myself, are allowed to feel disappointed. If this trajectory continues, I expect their fandom to undergo some type of shift. I feel that the fandom might become less devoted long term or less creative because BTS's content now simply attracts a different type of audience, and people that join this fandom because of their thought-provoking, boundary-breaking content are beginning to drift away, while new people drift in who may like them for more superficial reasons. Now, this is simply a prediction, and I may be overly pessimistic since they do have their old content for new fans to enjoy. And honestly, I don't necessarily expect BTS to care as much. I think they're getting to another phase of their career and they might be losing that kind of extreme passion that they had before. So yeah, maybe they don't care that much, I don't know. But I do think that there are always some negative effects in losing your individuality and personal nuance to cater to the masses. I know that some people who are in the phase of being incredibly devoted to BTS will feel offended and upset by what I'm saying, and I think that's okay. Like, you can feel that way and you can feel upset and you can disagree with me, but this is also simply my perspective and my feelings about the situation, and I do think that I have an equal right to be disappointed as you have to be passionate in regards to them. I will say that I'm not completely uninterested in them now. I mean, I just dropped a personality analysis video of Jungkook, so I'm not like completely uninterested because, like I said, I still like the members a lot as I have been following their content for years, and therefore I still enjoy watching some of their content and following them from, more of a distance now, but still following them. But all that being said, it's still hard for me to remember how strongly I felt about them before, and it is a little bit sad that I'm beginning to kind of forget.